topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Connected Table Live. We're your hosts, Melanie Young and David Ransom, your insatiably curious culinary couple. We love to bring you the amazing people we meet and the places we travel to help you expand beyond your tasting comfort zones so you can eat, drink, explore, inspire with us. Today, we're taking you to the Pisan Hills, known as the Colline Pisane Wine Trail. It's a picturesque region of vineyards and olive groves south of Pisa, about 45 minutes west of Florence, and a great place to visit, which we recently did. We actually had a great experience visiting a winery. We're going to show you a quick video called Fattoria Uccelliera. It's a hidden gem of a winery in agritourism located in Crespina Lorenzana, as we said, 40 minutes north of Florence. And the wines are exquisite and available in the United States. So we're going to show you a short video so you can see for yourself, and then we're going to introduce our guest, who is a family member of this historic winery.
Sono sempre stata troppo piccola per capire il valore di ciò che mi circondava. Distese di vigneti si riflettevano sui miei occhi innocenti. Tu, nonno, viaggiando al mio fianco, provavi a insegnarmi il senso della vita, assaporando un chicco d'uva. Anche se ad oggi non mi tieni più la mano, continuo a sfiorare le rose ed attraversare viali alberati, sussurrando loro che tu li curi da lassù. I nostri ricordi sono ricchi di ingredienti, dalle passeggiate nei boschi selvaggi, ai pranzi tra una vigna e l'altra, con un panino rustico e qualche sorso di vino, che tanto mamma non ci avrebbe visti. Chi ti conosceva si starà chiedendo di quale Antonio io parli, ma del resto, nonno, non vi è modo per spiegare come tu, così glaciale, potessi scioglierti stando al mio fianco.
All right, so that was Fattoria Uccelliera, and we are delighted to introduce the current owner and proprietor of this beautiful winery, Tiziana Bullieri, who runs this with her husband, Elena. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Tiziana. It's really great to see you. We're having a New Orleans, Italy connection today. So sometimes it works better than others, but we're really delighted to see you. Tiziana, your parents, Antonio and Maria Elena, acquired the property in the 1960s. Can you give us a history of what was there at that time, a sense of location and history?
Okay, so my father-in-law started the adventure in 1960 because he was fond of nature, vineyards, wood. He had a sawmill in Cascina, a famous sawmill, but his passion were in the nature. So I started to buy piece of ground, and now we have 240 hectares. Mainly they are wood, but also ancient building which he restored for agritourism, and of course also vineyards to produce wine and olive trees to produce oil. So we started in this way.
So it's really, we visited with you. It's a very remote area. And we're curious, you get a lot of visitors, and you have also, it's a winery, but you also have an agriturismo, which is on-site. Tell us about that.
So the property is quite big because we have around 120 acres ground, And we have 12 apartments as agritourism, plus 2 big apartments over the cellar and not far from the cellar, with two swimming pools. So it's quite big. Of course, this area, we are famous for birds. So here, many birds had their home, and among the trees they put nets. So in the past, people put nets to catch lovely birds, so for hunting. And for this reason, the name is Uccelliera, because uccelli in Italian are birds. And this practice was similar to a cage, of course. And so you can find many other Uccelliera in Tuscany because it's a common name.
You know,
there's actually another Uccelliera that makes wine.
Yeah.
in Montalcino,
which we've been to and know very well. It's so you're in good company.
Yeah, it's very famous, much more than us.
Well, we'd like to focus this. You know, we had not really, we spent minimal time in the Pisan Hills or Colline Pisane. We actually were there on the wine and food trail, the Strada, the Colline Pisane. There's actually an organization that organizes and recommends wine trails, and we went on it. It was just fantastic. Talk to us about this area. You talked about the many species of birds. It's also very well known for olive oil as well as wines. Yeah. And you also produce 2 different kinds of wines. So what else is unique to this area? Why should people come and visit? Because it's so close to Florence. It's very easy.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes west of Florence on the way to the coast. And it's an easy drive to get there. But and especially for us, and we've been to Tuscany a lot, it was a place that we hadn't even been to. So I can imagine it's kind of an off the beaten path kind of place for people to go. But it's so lovely once you get there and filled with lots of good stuff to do.
So tell us about it. You know the area very well.
You are very kind. Anyway, yes, we receive a lot of tourists because probably when you go to Florence or to Montalcino or to Lucca or to Pisa, you have anyway the impression of crowded cities and also beautiful, but anyway with this hot and with many people, and so tourists probably needs to rest in a quiet place, and we have this quiet place because when they reach our gate, then they can reach the cellar by foot, and arrive in a place where you can't hear any sound such as nature sounds. So, and it is naturally, of course, very nice. And then we offer an experience. So we talk about our history. And we show them also the old ancient barrel room, which is from 1860. And then we go to the tasting. But the tasting is each wine is combined, so paired to a special food. So which is of course cheese and local cold cuts, but also jellies or honey, truffle products. So they find anyway something different, and they appreciate a lot, I have to say.
Well, we experience it. It's interesting, David. Tiziana, you touched on something really important. We were just in Europe, in Greece, actually, and we've been in Italy in June many times, and it's crowded in some of these big cities. I mean, high season it's hot, and it can be crowded. So it's nice to know, and we want our viewers and listeners to know that it's time to go off the beaten path to these beautiful rural and easy to access areas of Tuscany, and not necessarily go where everybody else is. First of all, you'll be going and having less crowds. You'll have it's less stressful, and it's very relaxing. We loved it. We didn't get to spend the night at Uccelliera, but because we had to move on, we were on a tight itinerary, but we had a lovely afternoon with you, and we did go to those very old wineries, and we walked along the beautiful path. It had an arbor over it. It was just absolutely so relaxing. It really was. And it's a 4 seasons type of place, right? People come year round, correct?
Yeah. We are open all the year.
I think that's
Yeah,
important.
It
So
is.
let's talk about wine, because our main visit for going there was to talk about the wine. Let's talk about what sets the Colline Pisane region apart in terms of its microclimate, and what do you grow there?
Yeah. Okay. So mainly we produce wine, but all over red wine, because we are in Tuscany, and so it's normal to produce a Sangiovese. And we do also Petit Verdot and Alicante Bouschet. These two sorts are grow very well here. They found they are perfect ground, and so we planted a lot to do blend with the Sangiovese, our main grape. About white wine, we have Pinot Bianco, so white Pinot, because here in the area, every producer plants Vermentino. But personally, in our family, we don't like Vermentino, and so we planted only white Pinot, Viognier, Sauvignon Blanc, and since last year we produced a Sangiovese in white.
That was the first time we'd had that.
That's right, we had it. You call it Nero and Bianco, and it was a very interesting one for us. We've never had it before.
Yeah, you're going to show us a photo of it, so our listeners. You can show us. So that's fairly rare. Dave and I had never had Nero and Bianco, so a white Sangiovese, and it's interesting because later on during our travels, we actually had a dark Vermentino. Vermentino Nero. We were like, wow, this is really different. Talk to us about this. It's a no skin contact, free run juice wine, right?
Yeah. So the climate here is quite mild. So we don't have, so now we have a big hot, I have to say, but during the winter we don't have any snow, or normally no snow. Sometimes it happens, or in the night, only in the night we have 0. So during the day it's always over 8 to 10 degrees. So the climate is very mild, and so what is it? We have always a wind, so it's a particularly fresh area, and we in the last time we have a lot of rains, I have to say, but with this time it's difficult to say what is used, because we are crazy in this anyway, but normally it's a temperate area.
Yeah, we understand that Italy has been in an incredible heat wave this past June. But you're 200 meters above sea level, so you've got that diurnal wind and shift, and it's important to underscore that you've got dense forests, because those trees provide natural barriers and protection as well from the heat. What about the soil? Tell us about that.
So 1 million years ago, we had the seaside here. We can find many fossils. I have here, so you can find it easily along the street. And so our soil has a lot of sand and also limestone. Of course, also clay, but it's medium mixture, where we can find also sand and limestone.
How close are you to the sea, the Tyrrhenian Sea?
Yeah, so we have here, so in our website, you can see also the video where they found this reef barrier, and it's in our property, so close to our property. And here it was the Tyrrhenian Sea.
It's interesting that you've got so many different types of soil, which allows you to actually grow a variety of different grapes, which is what you do. Because we know that certain types of grapes tend to do well in some soils and maybe not in others.
Right.
But because you've got a good variety, you're actually able to grow a lot of different types of grapes, and you do that. Alicante Bouschet, we don't see much of in Tuscany, but it's lovely that you're able to grow something like that there. The region that you're in, the Colline Pisane, is one of the DOCs that you make wine from. Another one is the Chianti DOCG, which is a very big kind of blanket DOC region with all around Tuscany, and you're one of the Chianti DOC areas.
Yeah.
DOCG areas.
We are on the most west part of Chianti, because we are on the seaside, and we do Chianti Superiore, because superior means also a better quality, because we are allowed to produce less grape in the same hectare as normal Chianti. And so, and then we go on the market later, respectful with the normal Chianti, and so we want to do it to be to have a most complex and more complex Chianti.
And I find it is. It's kind of a richer, warmer style Chianti.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, David.
Yeah.
We touched on the Nero in Bianco, which is unique, the Sangiovese Bianco. You also mentioned you're not a Vermentino winery, but you do Ficcaia Pinot Bianco, which is a beautiful aromatic wine. I had notes of Asian pear and white flowers, and it's named for the nearby figs in the area. That's a beautiful wine. However, you said, I think your red wines are the ones that are exported to the United States right now, correct?
Yeah. At the moment, we have 3 importers in Maryland, in Washington State, and California, and they have all over red wine, white wine. So, of course, outside Tuscany is a red wine region. And so for white wine, they wait, they taste, they say, oh, it's good, but they don't start. I don't know. And of course, it's also so that the white wine season is shorter than the red wine. So you can buy a red wine and keep, and buy the white wine, you have to sell it fastly. And so also, I understand what our importers say.
Well, let's discuss your red wines, because they're all very unique. They you do a lot of blends, as David noted, and they're all quite lovely. And then we're going to talk about that special wine that your daughter designed the label later. Let's talk about your the first wine, which was the blend of Sangiovese and Petit Verdot. Ginepraia, which means juniper. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I have here what Ginepraia. It's the name of our cellar, and this is in United States. And this is Ginepro, is a juniper, as you said. And this is a blend of 70 Sangiovese and 30 Petit Verdot, only still, and it is nice, easy to drink. Meal around, you can drink, you can empty easily the bottle.
Well, that Petit Verdot added this incredible umami, this rich mouthfeel to it, that really adds to it. It's interesting that it's aged only in still tank for 6 months. Really quite lovely. Another wine we tasted, which is, there's an interesting backstory to it, is the Poggio alla Pietra. Pietra means stone. And this is the 80% Sangiovese, 20% Alicante Bouschet. You here employ the Governo alla Usa Toscana method, which is a very specific method to the region, but not to Italy. It's just got a specific name in Tuscany. And it was, talk to us about that process, because as we understand, it was used many, many years ago. They kind of died out, and now it's coming back.
Yeah. This practice is an old practice. When in the Chianti there were some white grape, so our old people discovered this practice because the wine didn't last, so it was not so to keep long, and so they discovered this way to prolong this time. And so the wine is ready. The practice show that the wine is ready, and we put over some dried grape. In this case, is a Sangiovese, around 5-10% of Sangiovese that are dried, and the sugar inside the dried grape. Let's start the second fermentation. That makes the wine more complex, more elegant, and so it is very nice. So well appreciated. We started this Governo to go on with the market, with the Chinese market, because with their recipe, this wine was very suitable. But now we sell much more in Italy or in USA this wine than in China. So
that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
So Governo is like a Passamento.
It's like an Passamento, like which they do.
Yeah, it's in the
stabilized wine.
Tuscany made is Governo.
But I guess it got, I don't know how it got the name Governo in Tuscany, but it's very old. And
yeah,
you know,
really
are many producers starting to do this again, or are just a handful? Do you know?
So to governo, governare in Italian means to give food. Not only politics, governo, government. It is to give food. So we give food to children or to animals. In this case, we give food to the wine. So for this reason, it's governo, governare.
It's interesting. Well, it was a beautiful wine.
It was spectacular. Yeah. And again, as David noted,
you know, it creates a structure in the wine that is much different when you do that. When you have those dried grapes and that rebirth into the wine of that, it's just an amazing process.
Yeah, very.
I love it.
A little dark bitter chocolate cake and moss. It was just very sensual wine, I would say.
Thank you.
Let's talk about, what do we want to talk about next?
Well, I think we should talk about the beautiful rosé that we had with Tiziana.
Before we go back,
and there's a big story behind the label as well.
Stunning.
And let's first of all talk about the fact that this is truly a family winery.
Yes.
And everybody in some way is involved in getting that bottle out the door. And it's, I believe, your daughter that actually designed this label as well, right?
See, it's hard to show, but it's basically it's
a
man kissing the neck of a woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about it.
La
prima volta.
Yeah, the translation is the first time, because in 2016 we planted a vineyards, a Sangiovese and Sangiovese and Canaiolo vineyards, and it was after. So in 2019 we had the first grape, but my husband said we cannot do a red wine. The grape are too young, so we need to do a rosé. Okay, how we call the new wine? La prima volta, the first time, because it was the first time that the vineyards gave the grape. So we asked our daughter Benedetta, and this is the B of the sign, to draw a label with this theme. And she did this picture. So her father was a little worried because 16 years old, and the first time a kiss in the neck is just too much, but she won the first. She won the first prize in Italy for rosé label, and so it was really satisfied. And so we go on, and this rosé is 50 Sangiovese and 50 Canaiolo.
Well, it was
fresh, very powerful, and easy.
It's a sexy wine.
It is a sexy wine, and it actually foretold her future as well, because she's actually going into fashion design.
Yeah.
So she was on the right track at a very young age.
I had notes of apricot and white peach. It's not yet in the United States, but I just thought this was an amazing.
Not yet.
Just amazing. And your daughter is now designing items for your gift shop.
Yes, she work in fashion, and as last she did this wedding collection. The name of the collection is Raggiungerti adesso. The translation in English is to reach you now, because she wants to reach her grandfather, who is the founder of the farm. She's grown up here, and she had with her grandfather a special feeling, and so she wants to thank him for all all that we have, so all that he let us, and so the fashion the collection is similar to this. Giorgio Tedesco is the wine, and you can see the logo is different because it's FU, so Fattoria Uccelliera third tree. It means third generation, and also the label as fall winter such as a wearing collection. It's the season of. And Benedetta did this. So we did the wine, but she drew the label, and she taught about the name and so on. This
So
is the Sangiovese.
the name means "Reach for You Soon." It's an ode to her grandfather, the founder of Uccelliera.
And it's a wine that I think it's only available at the winery because you only make 1,300 bottles a year of this wine, and that's only
very limited edition. Yeah.
And it's 100% Sangiovese.
Yeah, it's Sangiovese. Yeah. Mostly Sangiovese. So a very, very little part of Alicante Boucher, but it's really 4 cases of Alicante Boucher. And I know that it does many hours, received many hours this year. So we had a great satisfaction with this one.
Yeah.
Well, it was beautiful. Another reason to visit the winery so you can taste the wines that you can't get.
Yeah, you can taste the wine and see the collection.
I'd like to see the collection. When we were there, I was kind of ogling a few things, wondering what's coming because I love fashion. I think it's great that she has such a promising career.
I had here the wearing the photo shooting. This is you can see there is the bag with the
yes, we saw that. Yes, the bag was on display, and a vest. So apparel as well as accessories. Does she work for, in addition to doing the design work for the winery, does she also have a job working with a designer right now in Italy?
Not yet. So she's very young. She is learning. She tries. She thinks about. She did this bag. I'll show you. So this is she did this bag.
Look at that.
She did another bag with the wine, but not yet. So they are only prototype, so no sample. So not.
How old is Benedetta now?
At the moment, 23.
Oh, so she's got a great future ahead, and those are prototypes. I was ogling them.
Yeah.
You have a very interesting gift shop, and your estate wines have birds because again. The bird cage, so they have different birds on them, which is quite beautiful, as well for your estate wines.
Like many Tuscan wineries, you also make a super Tuscan, as well, and we got to try that while we were there. It's the Castellaccio, which is an IGT wine. It's 60% Sangiovese and 40% Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes,
it's just a beautiful wine.
Castellaccio is one of the oldest wine that we produce because we started in 88 and we did only 1,000 bottles at that time. And so he's grown up such as a child with us. And he gave many satisfaction. I have to say it's a good wine, our flagship.
This one is, so I'm curious, and just for the people who, just to kind of a little wine education, the Castellaccio is aged 1 year in small barrique, and the lots are vinified separately. The Ode Reach for You Soon, I don't want to butcher the name, I'm going to Reach for You Soon. Thank you. That is 100% Sangiovese, aged 1 year in tonneau. So you've got a much bigger vessel for aging the Sangiovese and smaller for the Super Tuscan. What is it about the choices made in the aging that is important in terms of impacting the characteristics of the wine, Tonneau versus Barrique?
So in this case, so for Castellaccio, it is the last year that we use small cases. Because nowadays we use only Tonneau 500 liters, 700 or 750. So we too, but also the market ask for less wood in wine, more fruits and less wood. So for this reason, we choose to avoid the barrique and to apply for Tonneau and big barrel.
It's interesting. As we travel, we're seeing a lot more Tonneau being used for that exact reason. And I just think, you know, a lot of consumers may not understand the differences, and certain wines do better in Tonneau as well. Are you experimenting at all with concrete or amphora, or plan to?
No, not yet. No, I have to say sincerely that we are not so fascinated by amphora or other way. So we never thought about and we don't believe in this way.
It's interesting because we're seeing a lot of experimentation.
So maybe we are too traditional. I don't know. Or also the amphora is anyway traditional, but in this case, it's in my opinion, such as a fashion time for amphora or not so real. We are authentic, and so. And also wine must be authentic without many other things. So maybe we are wrong, but this is our impression.
Well, you know, and I think I'd call that an honest philosophy in making wine too, because you know what you do well, and you don't feel the need to come out with something just to please the new wine drinker.
Exactly.
And it's a very nice thing to see. You know, there's a lot of people. So many people are working with concrete and amphora now, and big, large ones, small ones. We saw so one winery in Greece last week that they were using clay amphora, but they were 200 liters, so they was the size of an oak barrel, and she had 30 of them in her room. And it didn't seem to make too much sense to me.
But everybody has a different philosophy
exactly.
On how it imparts in terms of the flow and impart. It's very interesting. The more I taste of wines aged in Tonneau, the more I'm starting to appreciate them more for all the reasons you explained. I mean, I taste with an open mind, knowing that I'm not the expert, and I listen to every winemaker because they all have a different philosophy. So for the people who may not be familiar with Uccelliera and its philosophy, how would you explain it to them? What do you want them to know about the wines and your philosophy?
I don't know. I don't know if I understood very well what you said.
I think you know, when you make wines, do you think about making wines for food, or do you make wines for a certain style? That's the philosophy, the approach you do when wines are made. What is your goal?
So we try to do wine that we drink at home, and so
there you go.
Of course, the first purpose is to do wine that we like, and wine that are authentic, and they are real, and without any. So natural, but not natural in that sense. Natural without, so the grape must be great, and so if we bring the grape good, healthy, and nice to the cellar, the wine has to be good, and this is our philosophy. So we don't use. So we try to avoid to use chemical product in the vineyards, but we use them when it is necessary with one sense, so with a good we try to do our best because we drink. We are the first drinker of our wine. So this is what we try to do in making wine.
Well, I think that's a good philosophy because there are some producers, Tiziana, who make wines to get big scores, and ratings. How important is that? I'm curious. I don't read scores ever. I drink what I like. And of course, because we're sent wines to drink, we taste with an open mind and open palate because we're always discovering and learning. And when we buy wine on our own, we drink wine we like to drink and whatnot. But how important do you feel as an Italian producer are things like scorings and ratings for wine? How is it helpful to your wines? Does it matter?
Of course, they help us, but we don't give it importance. So anyway, I send a sample to the main guide, to journalists. We receive continuously journalists or bloggers who talk about us. And surely they have a sense, this is important because it is a communication anyway. Right. But we don't, so we follow our purpose, our vision, and we don't go together with what the journalists say or what the guides say. So we try to be honest with ourselves, and they are important, we know, but we are most important.
Well, I think that's interesting because every conversation we have with a producer, wine producer, is different. And sometimes they'll start the conversation saying, we got XYZ points from whomever. And we're like, that's nice. Or, we're in Gambaro, that's nice. But at the end of the day, the story is in the bottle.
Yeah.
And behind the people who make the wine. And I think that's a message to impart for everybody listening, watching this show. I mean, scores are great, but the story and the bottle, drink what you like, is really more important.
Of course, to receive an award or a Tre Bicchieri Gambero Rosso, it's a wonderful, and we are happy about it. But it's a confirm. So we know that our wine can be good. Not everyone. Some wine can be very high level. But if they don't say that they are, we know. So this is the difference.
Yeah, I think that's a good philosophy to think about when you're tasting wine and traveling, is to go and try wines that maybe you've never had before. Go to places you've never visited before. I mean, as we said at the beginning of the show, Dave and I, we had never been, we'd been to the Lucchese area, which is just near the Pisan Hills. We tasted wines at Anteprima Toscana, but we'd actually never been to this area of Tuscany, and it was an honor to do it.
Yeah, it was really eye-opening for me.
And now in Pisa there is a new dock, Terre di Pisa. So Ragione adesso is a dock, Terre di Pisa, and it is very nice also because Pisa, it is not only the Leaning Tower but also a good wine producer, and so beautiful hills, beautiful places, beautiful village. So people can come, taste very good food and wine, and visit also interesting countryside.
Are there, in addition to the wine, are there special dishes or cuisines that you would recommend trying in the area, in the Terre di Pisa area? Special pastas or any specific
recipe? So yes, we can have. So you can find the caciucco in Livorno. So mostly, so in this part of Tuscany, you will find many dishes with the tomatoes and with fish, because we are close to the seaside, and so it is normal that it's fish, and the tomatoes is one of the best ingredients of the kitchen. So and you can find, so for example, caciucco is a fish and tomatoes. So it's such as a soup. Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to tell you, we were in Livorno last year. We went to visit a winery in the island of Gorgonio.
Yeah.
And we had Cachuco for the first time. And I want to go back to Livorno just to have more. It is a fish stew. I think you have to use 5 fishes or 6 fishes. There's a certain number of fish. There's a whole story behind it. In the similar way that bouillabaisse in the south of France has a story. It's like the bouillabaisse of Italy, right?
Yes, it's right. It's right.
It's how many
it's
fishes?
A little different, but the concept is right.
Very different. But the tomato sauce and how it's like 5 or 6 fishes, right? That you use.
Yeah. Right.
It's interesting when we were in the Livorno area at the winery, they asked a gentleman who was a journalist to explain the history of Cachuco, but unfortunately he explained it in Italian, so we couldn't understand the thing he was saying. But it was really one of those sensory experiences.
It's an amazing fish stew.
Amazing fish stew. And Livorno is like a Venice on the coast with the canals. It's quite incredible history as well. And you can, when you're driving along the street, you can see the sea in the distance, and you can feel the air. It's amazing how close you are to the sea. And as you said, underwater, the region was underwater. Also, the pecorino is legendary in this area.
Yeah.
The sheep's cheese. And the olive oil.
We have here the Caseificio Busti.
So we went to Caseificio Busti.
Yeah, I remember.
We toured this, and you can visit it and tour on certain days of the week. They give you the headgear and the protective gear, and you the whole thing, and you go into, and you can actually see how while pecorino is their specialty, they also make some other cheeses. But this very historic Caseificio means cheese producer. Cheese production was started by shepherds. You know, we don't think about shepherds here in the United States, but we see shepherds all the time lately in Europe. It was started by shepherds who built this amazing producer of cheeses that readily represent the area. And pecorino, sheep's cheese, is signature, is sold all over the world. So we were very honored to be able to do that and sit down with the owners and have lunch and taste wines. It was very special. Another reason to visit the Colline Pisane area, that means Pisan Hills, because you have this amazing cuisine and these very special wines that are unique to the region and attest to the terroir.
Yeah.
Will you ever consider opening a place to eat on site at your winery as part of your agritourism?
And so we have these 2 apartments. So we open along the year, and but we will not do more because otherwise it's too big, too many people, and so we want to remain so quiet.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, it is kind of it's like an oasis.
Yeah, it is.
When you go there, because you have to drive almost a kilometer into the forest to get to the winery itself once you leave the road. It's a beautiful drive. But all of a sudden you're saying, am I going to see people soon or more deer soon?
Well, that's why I asked, because once you're there, you may want to get something to eat because, it's a drive to go to the next restaurant. I want to come back and stay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
hope
you can come again.
We will. So why don't we share the website so that our viewers and listeners can find you and check out the wines and look at the combinations.
It's www.uccelliera.com. Uccelliera.com.
And for our listeners and our viewers, it's UCCELLIERA.
And that's important because there's another winery, as we said, in Montalcino. So you want to get the Fattoria. What is Fattoria? It's so interesting in Italy. You've got pottery, Fattoria, Tenuta, Cantina.
Fattoria is a farm.
It's not factory, farm. I'm going to do an article just explaining.
And there's a good reason for that too, because they not only grow grapes, but they also grow grains and other and other products as well. So it's a diversified farm.
It's very diversified. Fattoria means farm, not factory. And I swear we're gonna do a deciphering the different names of wineries.
We have also some animal. Yeah.
I have to say that this was of this trip that we took in May, Melanie. This is one of my favorite stops because I'd been, Tiziana, tasting your wines at Anteprima Toscana for many, many years and had always regarded them very highly in my tasting notes. And to finally come and taste the wines at the winery and to meet you, the people behind it, was just a thrill for me. Really lovely wines.
Oh, thank you. You are really kind. I appreciate.
Well, we appreciate you. And again, the best way to understand wine is to go to the source, visit the wineries, meet the producers, see the land, and it'll enhance your appreciation for that wonderful bottle you open, because it does for us every single time. I also want to just share the fact that the Strada del Vino Colline Pisane has a website as well that you can visit, and they have suggested wine tours in the area and a beautiful video. So you may want to check that out. Strada del Vino Colline Pisane. I know it's a mouthful, but Tuscan wine and food trails. So thank you for joining us. And again, thank you so much, Tiziana, for your hospitality when we visited. It was just memorable for every possible reason: beauty, hospitality, and of course, those amazing wines.
Yeah, thank you for your invitation and for the time you gave to me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I wait for you in Tuscany again.
Hopefully we'll be back soon.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you've been listening and watching to The Connected Table with Melanie Young and David Ransom. We're so glad that Tiziana joined us. We're so glad that all of our followers follow us at The Connected Table on Instagram. We encourage you to follow along as we travel the world to bring you amazing wines and foods. Thank you for joining us, and always stay insatiably curious.